How's it going, guys? Will here. So, I like talking about tech that I like on this channel. There's nothing better than just finding a really good piece of tech that works the way you want it to. It can genuinely change your life, which is why I love doing this so much. However, because I've been interested in tech so long, I've tried quite a lot of it, and some of it kinda sucks. Today we're gonna be talking about the tech that I most regret buying over the years, seeing as we've been going good with like the formal tech videos over the last week. Did 3 last week, I'm currently working on the iPad Pro review, so it was like a little fun break. I thought I'd make this video. Come to think of it, probably the biggest waste of money tech related I've ever made definitely have to be the microtransactions for like mobile games when I was 12. Oh, you want the rainbow jetpack on Jetpack Joyride? Better buy £2 worth of real life coins. By the way, before we get started, quick shout out to Your Average Consumer. His video actually gave me the idea to make this. So yeah, definitely go check out his video too. Okay, so an honorable first mention on this list would just have to be all the awful phone cases I've bought over the years. I know I talk about this case a lot, but I genuinely believe that buying a good case is pretty important if you want to use a case. Now, I've had the cheap cases before and some of them have been pretty good, but chances are most of them are very flimsy, won't do all that much to protect your phone, and will probably start to fall apart in a few months. That might say more about me than it does the phone cases, but still, I do highly recommend getting a good phone case. Alright, so the first main product that I personally regret buying isn't actually a bad piece of technology. In fact, I personally think it's really good. I say it's actually 2 items. But earlier this year, I decided, maybe I can improve on my top camera mounted shotgun mic. So I decided to look for a new microphone. I narrowed down a long list of microphones and in the end, decided a dynamic broadcast mic would probably suit my needs best. I ended up trying out 2 microphones. The first one was the Rode Procaster. I did not get along well with this microphone at all. There was something about the way that it acted with my voice. It didn't sound all that great in my opinion. And while it did sound good when I put in a lot of effort to that finished audio file, it just wasn't a good fit for me. So instead, I went with the classic Shure SM7B. Now, I actually unboxed this microphone on this channel. I used it for plenty of videos, and overall, it wasn't a bad microphone. However, again, it just didn't have that right sound that I wanted. While it did give me that radio sound that I initially wanted, as the months went by, my wants and needs with my audio recording equipment gradually shifted to something a little bit more natural sounding. So in the end, I decided to pick up this Neumann microphone. I personally love this thing. I think it sounds amazing. And the best thing is I can still get that broadcasty sound that I wanted, but I can also record some much more natural sounding vocals as well. So yeah, the only reason I've included those on this list is because I just kind of wish I'd gone with that Neumann mic initially. All right, so the next piece of tech we're going to be talking is a piece of camera gear. If you've ever vlogged or seen somebody who vlogs, chances are you might have come across the Joby GorillaPod. And if you've ever used one for more than 2 months, then you'll know they get pretty flimsy. However, this segment isn't about this. It's about what I thought would be the replacement of the GorillaPod. About a year ago now, I decided I'd had enough of the GorillaPod. It was flimsy, it was getting worn down, it didn't stand up properly on a table, and while it had served me well in the time that I'd had it, I decided I wanted to try something else. And so after not very much research at all, I tend to find that's the trend, by the way. If I ever rush into a purchase, sometimes it won't be that good. So one day I walked into my local camera shop and I decided to pick one up. Again, like the GorillaPod, for the first few months, it was pretty good. While it was certainly less versatile than the GorillaPod, it was staying up, it was easier to carry around because it was smaller, and all in all, I was pretty pleased with it. However, the lack of versatility compared to the GorillaPod did eventually get to me, along with the fact that it was shorter, so it was less versatile. I couldn't hold my camera out as far, and as I was on a GH5 at the time, that was a pretty big deal. And on top of that, the reason why I switched to the Pixie in the first place, aka because it was more sturdy, well, it turned out that ball head started to sag. Maybe the Pixie Evo would be a better choice for me, but overall, while it wasn't a massive purchase, it wasn't all that expensive, this is a piece of tech I regret buying nonetheless. Now, just because I regret buying it doesn't mean it's a bad piece of tech. Again, I actually think this is a pretty good piece of tech. I'm sure with a smaller setup or for somebody who doesn't vlog, it's probably quite good. However, vlogging can actually be quite straining on equipment. Also, it can occasionally be a little messy. Sometimes there will be knocks and bumps during vlogging, but I overall do think it's still a good product, just not for me. This next one, however, I don't think is a good product. In fact, I think there's very few you should actually buy. I'm talking about these. This is a microphone scissor stand and they suck. Now, I don't think all microphone scissor stands suck. In fact, I think some of them are quite good. However, I'm specifically talking about the mass-produced, mass-repackaged, just $20 Amazon scissor stands. I've never had one that's lasted more than a couple of months. I don't think these are a good product at all. What I recommend instead of getting one of these these is to just take that money that you'd spend on the scissor stand and spend it on a boom stand. They're typically better quality, they last longer, and they're more versatile. If you can afford to sacrifice that bit of space, I would absolutely recommend that you do, because I have never not regretted buying one of these. Okay, so the final piece of tech I'm going to talk about today is actually a phone that in 2018 I spent a lot of money on, and my experience wasn't great. Of course, I'm talking about the Samsung S8. Obviously, it would be the Samsung S8. I regret spending so much money on it when I did. I regret the positive review I gave of it even more, and we're going to be talking about that later. I probably wouldn't be complaining that much about this phone if it wasn't so expensive. Like, even when I bought it in 2018, it was so expensive. It is probably the most expensive phone purchase I've ever made, and while for the first few months it was pretty good, sometime in March 2019, the performance took such a sharp hit. It also cracked in several places. A bunch of the features didn't work all that well. Some things annoyed me about it. The camera wasn't great. Now, going back to my review, I said this was a pretty good phone, and I thought it was worth the money. However, seeing as my opinion has so radically changed on this phone, I've decided today I'm gonna remove that video. Now, while I do like it as a video, I had an absolute blast making it. I think it was probably the first proper phone review I made on this channel. I just really let myself get creative with the cinematography. I had a lot of fun making it, and a lot of people liked it. However, reviews are about providing good information, and as my opinion on the phone has changed so much, I don't believe that review has good information anymore. Other than that though, that's pretty much it. I usually find that if I properly research a piece of technology, which I always like to do, I tend to not regret my tech purchases. It's only when I rush into a purchase without properly checking things out that I tend to regret it. Now, one could say that buying a 3DS a year before the Switch was released was also probably a bad idea, but I enjoyed the 3DS a lot. Some of the cheaper headphones and mechanical keyboards that I've bought on Amazon could also be considered bad, but for the time, they perfectly met my needs. And while this Panasonic G7 did eventually end up dying on me mid-shoot, it served me well for like 2.5 years. An experience with a piece of tech isn't always linear. However, most of the time, if you choose a piece of technology that works well for you, it'll usually be pretty amazing. Alright guys, so that's it for today. Feel free to let me know in the comments a piece of tech that you regret buying. But as of now, as always, thank you for watching. Remember to like the video if you want to see more content like this, and smash that subscribe button. I'm done for now, and I will see you guys in the next one.